Hiya! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. It is the time of month again for me to share some of my monthly favourites from April, as I do at the end of every month. And this one's no different. There's of course a few foodie bits as well as a couple of beauty products and podcast recommendations. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, then keep watching and let's get straight into this month's favourites. First thing I'm going to mention is actually a tanning mousse, and it's the St. Mary's, I don't know quite how you pronounce the name, St. Marie? I don't know how you say that, correct me somehow in the comments, tell me if I'm saying that right or not. I really feel like I'm not. But it's their 5-in-1 tanning mousse with the Advanced Pro formula, and as it's starting to get warmer, getting a bit brighter and sunnier out, of course, you know, you want to look a bit more tanned, and this just gives you a really nice healthy glow. It actually is the one that's in the shade dark, and it's really not like that dark at all, so you don't have to be concerned about it looking really unnatural. It gives such a great bronzed look, honestly. It just gives such a nice natural looking finish, definitely not orangey at all, and it's really easy to apply. As it is a foam as well and it is tinted, the foam obviously is a tanning mousse, you just apply it with the usual like tanning mitt in a circular motion, and then you can also see where you've already applied it from the colour of the tanning mousse, which is always great so you don't overgo the same areas loads of times, and it also means that you get a real good streak free kind of finish because you can ensure that you've rubbed it all in really smoothly. So if you're looking for a tanner's try as well, this one's super affordable but it gives amazing results for the price. This one's definitely a good one to go for. So I'm going to move on to a few podcasts that I've been loving recently. If you watch some of my day in the life videos or some of my vlogs, then you'll know that I love going out when the weather's nice to the park next door to my uni and just going for like a nice afternoon walk, which really helps to sort of break up the day, give you a rest from work, and also just to get out as well and make the most of the nicer weather. And I always love to do that while listening to a podcast, so I like to try and find some new ones to listen to as well, because most podcasts only release weekly episodes, and depending on how good the weather's been that week, I might need extra ones to listen to as well. So some of the ones that I've recently been listening to are Food for Thought, which is one by Rhiannon. I can't remember her surname. I need to I'll check her surname quickly. Rhiannon, Food for Thought. Yeah, she's called Rhiannon. I can't seem to find her surname, but if you type in Rhitrition, that's like her business that she runs, and she's a nutritionist and she has some amazing podcasts. In her most recent series, she's been getting other experts in to talk about specific topics. I think the most recent one was on skincare, I want to say, or one of the fairly recent ones was. Anyway, I just remember listening to that quite recently. And yeah, so recently she gets other experts in, talks about loads of topics. There's loads of things just related to health and wellness, and they're the kind of podcasts that I love listening to. I find them really interesting. So her ones are great, as well as then in her first series she always got celebrity guests on as well, which was always quite a good fun interview as well to listen to talk about their relationship with food and just a bit about their general lifestyle as well. For example, she had James from the Vamps on there. I'm just trying to think of some other ones. That was from series 1 though, so I listened to those not as recently. But yeah, that podcast is really great for general sort of health and wellness and just real facts and actually getting to the bottom of all the details of those kind of topics and getting real, truthful, well-researched information that you can actually rely on. That's a great podcast for that. Another one which is a bit more chatty, a bit more light-hearted is the Rise and Conquer podcast, which is focusing on sort of becoming the best version of yourself, establishing a good relationship with food, and just generally, again, well-being and health. And this one is by someone called Georgie, who does have a YouTube channel, so you might already follow her on YouTube, and she'll often get in guests. Like recently she got in Naturally Nina, or Nina, that's her Instagram name, and I love her account on Instagram, and she recently was on the Rise and Conquer podcast and she did a whole episode on nutrition, but then they also tap into loads of other aspects as well of health and wellness. So again, that's another great one for that. And then I thought I would also just mention, because while I'm talking about podcasts, I don't know if I have mentioned this one or not before, but one of my good staple go-to ones is Deliciously Ella. She covers a whole wide range of topics, quite a lot related to plant-based eating, but not only just the form of eating and everything in terms of the nutritional aspect as well. She's done loads on the environmental aspects and loads around that kind of topic. Recently she's just finished, I think it's the second series of that, so there's no current episodes coming out, but if you've never listened to it, that's another one that I would highly recommend you go and listen to. This next item might seem a little bit random, but it's actually a milk frother. My voice is going croaky. I think I've managed to clip. It's still a little bit croaky. Hopefully I'm not coming down with a sore throat. But it is this milk frother, which I ordered on Amazon. I think it was about £20, I want to say. But I love making matcha lattes, and just having a super frothy top on there makes all the difference. And I did have one of those little handheld ones, but it just never really worked that well. But this one is amazing, and the secret is you froth the milk and then you warm it up. So basically you fill the milk up to the maximum line here, and then you just have this little like pump thing which you just pulse through it for like a minute or something, and that starts to really froth it up. And then you just take this bit out and you pop the jug in the microwave for like 30-40 seconds to warm up the milk. But also during that time, in the heating process, it like doubles the froth as well, which is just amazing. So you get some super frothy hot drinks. So if you're a coffee drinker or love a good frothy hot chocolate or matcha latte like me, definitely invest in one of these. This is so good. I will link it down below in the description. By far the most like frothiest milk frother that I've ever used at home, besides getting an actual machine, like proper coffee machine one, which are crazy expensive. This is a great cheaper alternative. So on to a few foodie favourites now for this month. The first one are these Rhythm 108 Swiss chocolate truffle eggs. I know Easter's been and gone, but these are just so worth a mention, because honestly they are so smooth and creamy, and like they say, they are like truffle eggs, and they are just such a tasty treat. You get them in these little bags of 6 eggs, and I know that, like I said, Easter has gone, but definitely worth a mention. I don't know if you'll still be able to get them. Beforehand they were available in places like Planet Organic, and then Sainsbury's supermarkets supplied them, so they might still have some stock left, as it's only been a week or so since Easter, so they might still have some left, and if they do, they'll probably be on sale as well. So definitely get your hands on some of these if you love truffles, and they are vegan and gluten free as well, so they're available for everyone and anyone can enjoy these. They're just super tasty, and I did actually do an Easter baking video last weekend on Easter Sunday, including some of these as the decoration, so be sure to go over and check that out. I'll link that video down below. It was just a really simple Easter bake. Or if you've got any leftover Easter chocolate, definitely check out that video. It'll provide you with a really good sort of option of what to do with your Easter chocolate and make it into something a bit more creative rather than just sitting eating it, which is also great. But if you happen to have loads of chocolate, then definitely go check out that video, which does also feature these really tasty truffle eggs. Another kind of chocolate favourite that I've discovered is something by the Raw Chocolate Company, who I have tried their chocolate covered fruits, so like chocolate covered raisins and mulberries and goji berries before, and they are super tasty, but I've never actually tried any of their chocolate bars, which kind of doesn't really make sense. I tried their like other products involving their chocolate but not their actual chocolate bars. And so I recently tried their, let me get the name right for this, it's the Salted Banoffee Hazelnut Bar, which I can't even tell you, it's just so creamy and smooth and caramelly. They have a Banoffee range which is less sort of chocolatey in terms of it contains less of the raw cacao powder itself. It's not high in cacao powder, but still all natural raw ingredients, and it's mainly made from the cacao butter instead, so it's like a really creamy smooth chocolate, and it is so tasty. Honestly, if you love anything caramel flavoured, you should definitely check it out. I got the bar and I was like, oh, I'll have a few squares of this as I was just watching something at night, and I just ended up eating the whole thing. I couldn't stop, honestly. It was just that amazing. It got to the point where there wasn't much of the bar left, and I was like, you know what, I might as well just finish it now. I've pretty much got through the whole thing anyway, so might as well just have it all. I will definitely be having that as a new fave chocolate. Of course Ombar, which has always been my staple fave, will still just be like my staple go-to, but when I want something a little bit extra, definitely will be having that one more. And I'm also pretty sure I'll be checking out some of their other flavours now as well, now that I know how good their chocolate is. My final favourite for this month is a release by Pippin Nut, and if you know me, you know I love my nut butters. I literally have them at least once a day at some point, whether that's for breakfast or for some kind of snack, or I don't know, whatever that may be. I usually have them at least once a day, and they've just come out with a new limited edition, which I was so excited about as soon as I found out the flavour, and it is Cherry Bakewell Almond Butter. Almond butter is my go-to, it's like my staple already. Cherry Bakewell though, as a kid, Cherry Bakewells were like my favourite thing. Of course I grew up in Spain, we couldn't get them there, so whenever I came over to the UK and stayed at my grandparents, my grandma would always stock up on Cherry Bakewells, knowing that they were my favourite thing, and I'd get through so many of them while I was there, even like within a week or two. And I love the flavour of Cherry Bakewell. Honestly, it just reminds me of my childhood. I can't even tell you how accurate the flavour of this almond butter is. Even just the smell of it, if you know a Cherry Bakewell, then you just smell this and straight away you can pick up on what the flavour is supposed to be. If you love Cherry Bakewells, I honestly can't stress enough that you should try and get your hands on this. I'm loving the recent limited editions by Pippin Nut. Their one last year was the chocolate orange one, and again, Terry's chocolate orange used to be a big part of my childhood. I used to love it, and their chocolate orange almond butter literally just tastes like melted Terry's chocolate orange. It's amazing. And then now this one is just incredible. I'm excited to see what other flavours they come out with in the future. I never would have thought of a Cherry Bakewell almond butter, but it just works so well and tastes incredible. So those were all of my favourites for this month for April. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to smash a big thumbs up on it if you have, as well as clicking on that little red subscribe button down below if you're new to my channel. And don't forget, there's also that notifications bell as well that you can tap onto so that you're notified whenever I upload, which is every Wednesday and Sunday at 4 PM UK time. And I'll be sure to see you very soon with a brand new video. Bye!